I don't know about you, but if you are a woman over 40, over 50, I think we're in a different phase of life. Our kids are either adults or like mine, they don't live at home anymore. And you're trying to figure out the new normal. It's hard to get motivated. So if you are new to me, my name is Stacy. I'd love to hear in the comments, do you feel out of control? Tell me how you feel. And then let's talk about that. How many of you feel like you need better organization to get more crap done? Because most of us, that's exactly what it is. And some of you may hate what I'm going to say, and that's okay, but we all have time we aren't utilizing to the fullest ability. One of the biggest things in my programs, we talk about no motivation. I hear you, out of control, yes. And so if you're in any of my programs or you follow me, I talk a lot about 10-minute resets, because it is absolutely incredible what you can get done if you focus for 10 minutes. The problem is, how many of you are like me? And if we're not focused, we can zigzag all over the house, and you could do that for a few hours, and then you're like, where did the freaking day go? What did I get done? I still feel like I have a really long to-do list, and you feel like you haven't accomplished anything. So how many of you can relate to that, to where you're busy, right? But you're actually not being productive in your day? Yes, that is exactly, I think, especially this age, we had excuses when the kids were little because we were focused on them. So things got a little out of control. But now, if we really get serious with ourselves, we all have 10 minutes a day. If you literally set your timer, if you take nothing else away from today's live, I want you to set your timer on your phone and then pick one drawer, one cabinet, one shelf. Maybe it's your countertops. How many of you are like me? And if my countertops have a bunch of crap on it, it's insane. I feel so overwhelmed. And so just take 10 minutes. Let's see. Hello, Chris. I'm new here and ready to declutter, but feeling overwhelmed and where to start. That right there, Chris, you are not alone. 99.9% of women come to me and say exactly that. And how many of you can relate to Chris? Like, you look in every room, you walk around the house, and there's stuff shoved everywhere. Your house may look beautiful at first glance, and maybe you've gotten enough control where if somebody comes by, you don't hide and not open the door, or you can have a party or host people over. But if they were to open your closet, if they were to try to help you in the kitchen and go in your pantry or go in your drawers, you're like embarrassed, because stuff is coming in your house, but things aren't going out. And it all comes down to being able to bless and release things and not using the excuse like, I might need it. Because usually that's what keeps us in that overwhelmed and we don't know where to start, because we have to start making decisions, right? I can't find the time to get rid of so many useless things. Amelia, yes, you can. Girl, you're starting with 10 minutes. And we pick one drawer, one closet, one shelf. We set the timer for 10 minutes and we stop lying to ourselves that we need to keep everything. It's really some tough love. And I spend so much time in my programs talking about letting go. Actually have the right questions to ask ourselves, like, what am I keeping this for? Will it really impact me if I didn't have this? I always use a shirt. So if you're afraid to get rid of a shirt, it's like, okay, is it life or death if you didn't have that shirt? You haven't worn it in 2 years. And so you're keeping it because what if you need it? But why? Why are you keeping all your corporate clothes when you don't work corporate anymore? Or if you're retired now and you were a teacher and you had all the clothes, but now you pretty much wear jeans or golf clothes or more casual gear and you don't need that stuff anymore. It's like we stay stuck, and that should be the easy stuff. The hard stuff is things like our kids, like the keepsakes. That takes some time, that I can give you. But when it comes to going through your kitchen, like, how many mugs do you really need? How many people are you going to have over that are going to actually drink coffee or tea at the same time? That's the stuff I'm coaching. Let's start with the easy wins, right? Okay, let me read some of your comments here. I can relate to all of it. Absolutely, yes. And I want you guys to just be honest with yourself. And I want you to start remembering you don't need all this stuff. Once you start, I love when my clients get started and they get the bug. They start taking 10 minutes and I get these amazing emails from them like, oh my gosh, I got so much done in 10 minutes because they were using the timer. They had all the questions that I tell you guys. What's the end goal with this? What are we gonna do if we don't have it? Stop playing the mind games and remember legacy. So if you watch any of my content, I'm really big at the legacy that you're going to leave to your kids. None of us know if we're gonna be here tomorrow. So the fact that if you are watching this and you are healthy and you have 10 minutes, start taking care of the stuff that you keep pushing off. Because if you push it off, and something happens to you or you get sick in a year or something happens, your kids are left with all of it. And I went through that. And that kind of started this whole mission for me because my mom and I were super close. My family, we were always there for each other. I would have been there in a heartbeat if my mom said, come help me clean stuff out. But she loved to shop. She really just never thought that time would come, right? And it did. And it was devastating as a daughter to lose the most important person. And you just can't imagine living out without your mom and that pain of having to grieve her, but yet pick myself up and start going through boxes of paperwork and all the excess stuff in the linen closets and how many Tupperware things do we need? The quantity of stuff. I'm not saying be a minimalist, so don't come at me. And if you love your stuff, just keep scrolling and keep it if you don't care. But I put out a post today. It's on my story too. I think as a mom, this is my opinion, as a mom, I want to make things as easy as possible. I want to set my kids up for success, right? They went to college. I try to help them any way that I can. Why on earth would I want to have them cleaning out random stuff if I don't take the time to organize my stuff? Why should they have to? And that's just the random crap, you guys. So that's legacy. So that's the stuff we're talking about in a lot of my programs, is giving you those tools that you can finally make the difference in getting started and actually getting rid of stuff. Get real with it, right? Okay, let me scroll through some comments. New here, overwhelmed, photos, memories, and deceased family members. Oh, Janet, yes, that's the hard crap. That's the heavy stuff. Don't start there. If you are overwhelmed with anything else in your house, let's get that first. I'm really big. If you comment the word photo, you should get a link from me. I have a photo reset program because if something happens to us and those photos were from your parents and grandparents, your kids probably have no idea who those people are. They're just gonna get thrown out. So it's so important that we document those important memories. And my photo program literally takes you through, like, how do you want them displayed in the end? And then we work backwards to decide, how do we bless and release? And yes, you can throw pictures out. You do not have to keep all the duplicates. And so if we don't stop and go, okay, I'm gonna make a plan, and I'm gonna start taking baby steps, even if it's one little thing, you're making progress. And if you do that, think about it, if you did 10 minutes a couple times a week, a year from now, you look back, you've actually accomplished quite a bit, which is pretty cool. So don't underestimate just what your 10-minute resets. And that's why it's so powerful. And so hopefully that helps your, like, the photos and the memento, the memories, all of that, like the keepsake stuff for your kids, that's way harder. So if you are struggling with clutter, that's not where you start. Don't start with loved ones of people that you've lost, because that is so heavy that I want that to be last, because we need to get you in a good rhythm. What do you think the number one thing holding you back from being more organized? Let me pause for a second, and I would love for you guys to answer that in the comments. What's the biggest reason you feel you can't seem to get started on this journey, or that you're in some sort of like cycle or pattern that you can't make progress? That's what I want to hear from you guys. Every room has stuff everywhere, ashamed for anyone to see it. Yes, Sue, you are not alone. Just had knee replacement surgery, and my neighbor had to come in, and I was in tears because I couldn't do anything about it. But oh my gosh, I feel you. Sue is in a situation that could happen to any of us if we don't take action, because we don't know. I don't know if you had an injury, and I'm so sorry, and I hope you're healing well, Sue. But this is like the eye opener that goes, okay, as you heal and as you can get back around, we're not gonna do this anymore, because we've all been at that point where someone knocks at the door and you're like, holy crap. We've probably all hid from whoever just decides to randomly stop by, or you're apologizing when people come over and they have to go in another room or whatever. We feel you, Sue. So I know you felt embarrassed about that, but I want you to know that you can make a difference. and it may not be right this second, and right now while you're recovering, I would start to create that plan. Start to work on your mindset that you know that why right there is so big that you're never gonna let this happen again. And we're gonna start taking 10 minutes as soon as you can start to get up and get around again. Okay, Ren, too scared to let go. Please, who is scared of letting go of items? Because that is another really big one. And let's talk about that in a second. Other priorities. Janet, what are other priorities? You mean work, kids? And I'm going to challenge you and push back on you because it's never going to get easier. I did one of my newsletters in the last few weeks. I talked about, we think when the kids are gone, we won't be running to sports every night. And when they move out, things are going to get quieter and easier. And it does get quieter, but we're always busy. We lose the motivation and the energy. And so unless you're laid up like poor Sue here, healing from something, or you're going through some treatment, or you're going through something, like I'm not talking about that because obviously your health, that's it. But everyone else, we have 10 minutes. We can set a timer. We can start to go, okay, you know what's ticking me off is this one thing in my closet. I can never find whatever accessory it is, or I cannot find the tank tops I'm looking for, or the short sleeve shirts. You could take 10 minutes and you could start to tackle it. The problem is we're usually so overwhelmed and we make excuses. So I have a membership program called the Midlife Reset. And I do a private podcast to all of those clients every Monday. And it's all about owning it, creating 3 things. Like, what 3 things am I going to get done today? Because we all do have a lot of priorities, people needing us for different things, but it's about putting yourself first to take care of some of these things, because it is really important. And remembering the whole legacy piece, if you were on a couple minutes ago when we were talking about, like, something happens to you tomorrow, someone else has to clean it up. Somebody else has to go through your closets. So as much as we don't want anyone to stop by, or a neighbor comes in and you're like, holy cow, imagine if something happens to you and someone else has to clean all of this up. And even if your house is clean, how many years of taxes do you have? What's shoved in there? When you're like a lot of us, we've got lotions and different products, and how many towels and sheets, and it's the excess of stuff, right? So we can all prioritize and take a few minutes, but the key is to prioritize it. So when I say what 3 things are you going to do to work towards whatever goal it is you have, I don't mean clean out your entire closet is one of your goals. Taking 10 minutes to clean out all of your flip-flops or sandals, like taking 10 minutes and saying, I'm going to clean out the junk drawer and I'm going to get rid of all the coupons and miscellaneous papers that are in there, right? We all have time for that kind of stuff. That's where I'm saying pick 3 things. And it could be things like, literally, I need to call and schedule my dentist appointment. And so I want you to know that you deserve to make yourself a priority. These things that you are embarrassed about at your house, something irritating you about your home that you want to start tackling, take back your home. What area do we want to start with? And take one shelf, one drawer, and start to say, I'm going to do this. And I want you not to let yourself down. And that was one of the things I talked about in the newsletter I was telling you guys in the podcast. Literally, we let ourselves down. We say yes to everyone else, but we don't say yes to ourselves. We let our priorities fall down, and there's times where it has to. I get it. But I guarantee you, if you really start saying, you know what, I'm important, and this stuff is really ticking me off, and I'm gonna make it a priority for me to do this. And it, like I said, we're not doing huge projects. I am 90-year-old mother caregiver, yes, for 8 years. Oh, Bev, big hugs. I'm usually too tired when it comes to my stuff. Yes, all your energy is going somewhere else. And I get it. And there are phases in life. When my mom was sick before we lost her, my sister and I were literally juggling, flying to be there to stay. And it felt like I was drowning because I was so exhausted. Being a caretaker is really tough. And now might not be the time for you, Bev, to push forward and take care of your own. If you need to focus on your mom, you're never going to get that time back. So as somebody who lost their mom, love on her, and we'll deal with all this later. And sometimes you just have to give yourself forgiveness instead of looking around and beating yourself up for the things that are going on, because we do have priorities that we need to do. So give yourself some grace. It is not easy. Write a list, then start somewhere. Check it off as you get done. 7 Queen B3, yes. I love a good list, right? How many of you, speaking of lists, how many of you are using AI, ChatGPT, any of that? Just put AI down in the comments so I can see that as I scroll down. I want to give you guys some advice on using it in a way that can really help you prioritize. And I'll tell you that in 1 second. Let's see. How can I make changes when I'm struggling and on medication? Yep. Makes me feel like I can't get anything. Medication is tough. So I would ask you, if you're struggling with mental health, if you're struggling with motivation, when is your best time of the day? For me, as a woman in menopause, the morning is my best time. This time in the afternoon, I start to crash. I'm exhausted, right? I also do get up about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So I start to lose energy, right? And so if you're struggling with health, I'd ask you, is there some good times and bad times? And if there's a pattern you can see where maybe mornings are hard and you got a spike in the afternoon where you feel good, or maybe at certain days, if you take medication on certain days and it affects your health, maybe you have to start like finding a rhythm, or on your good days, you do what you need to do. And then on the not so good days, again, just like caretaking for your mom, you're caring for yourself and you don't push yourself. But you do on your good days, because you're like, today is a good day. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 10 minutes and do something for myself, right? And then we give ourselves grace when we need to. He says he wants a magazine picture. He should have thought about that before the 2 birds and the 3 big dogs. Oh yeah. You add in animals into all of that, you're not getting a magazine picture of a house, right? We are realists. And you have to remember how many people are living in your house, but you also can create some systems and processes to make it easier. I don't feel like everything has to be out of control, but I do feel like maybe if they're older, especially if they're older, there's a family meeting and we're going to talk about people leaving stuff everywhere. Working smarter, not harder. I want you to comment the word learn. So I have found, because I was using AI in my business to help keep me organized, I pass that on to my daily life now. I literally have 10 assistants that I have trained to help me, because some days I just feel a little crazier than others. And it's juggling health, it's juggling midlife, it's juggling family calendars, it's juggling what's for freaking dinner, all of your finances, all of this stuff that we do. There's so many good things you can do with AI. And so I created a program called the AI Home Manager. And I literally teach you, me, 50 years old, if I can do it, you can do it. If you can work an iPhone, you can do this. But I can pick up my phone and I have an assistant who I named Nora. I always encourage you guys to name your assistants. And Nora knows me. She knows I'm a business owner. She knows I'm 50 years old. She knows I'm in menopause. She knows she's connected to my calendar. So I can say, first thing I do in the morning, I get my cup of coffee and I say, Nora, what's on my schedule today? And she rattles off the things. And don't forget, I've trained her then to say, oh, birthday's next week, or what, you're 1 week out from this trip, or whatever it is. I've trained her. So in the AI Manager program, I give you prompts, because if you have the right prompt in AI, you can train it and it knows you. Like if you're just using ChatGPT and you open up a chat and you act like it's Google and you're like, okay, can I use this fertilizer on my grass? Or how do I get this stain off? Or what's this code on my dishwasher or whatever? Those are great things, but that's not really utilizing it to help you stay more organized in your life. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll comment the word learn, ask me questions. I am a believer, because it's allowing my ADHD brain to just get stuff done and not have to have everything live up in my mind. I can have it all organized and have it remind me. Let me read comments, because I saw a couple come by here. I put away the laundry and did the dishes at 3 a.m. because my husband works early yes. And I like the quiet. Same girl. I love a good morning. If you need me at 3:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, I'm there. Okay, so are we feeling motivated? Do we feel like we can pick one spot? We're gonna set our timer. We're gonna use 10 minutes. We're gonna start to make progress. Whole house thinking, holy crap, how am I gonna do all this? We're gonna find 10 minutes and we're gonna start tackling things. All right, it has been fun. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. And my page is Home Organized Tribe. So if you want to hit the follow button on that, if you want to send me a message afterwards, just let me know if you have a question about something maybe we talked about today, or if you get any of the links and you're like, you need questions answered, I'm here. I am a real person behind the computer, here to help you guys. So baby steps, you guys. Bless and release. Try not to keep everything that's in your house. If you don't love it, just release it, okay? All right, you guys have a fantastic day. I will see you on the next live, or I'll see you on my page or in my programs. Take care.